So what defines an artifact to you, my YouTube viewers watching what I'm doing here? What makes it an arrowhead or something that you want to keep, something that you would want to pick up, take home, or more importantly, watch my videos that I'm picking up? What makes an artifact? What makes an arrowhead? I'm going to talk about this for a minute, okay? Hickbilly Outdoors with D.W. Verts. We'll be right back. We'll talk some point stuff. Hey y'all, is that an artifact? Well, sure it is. Is it an arrowhead? No, it's not an arrowhead. That was never used on an arrow. Maybe a spear, maybe an atlatl, but it's not an arrowhead. It's a strange deal I'm up against here. I've seen this my whole life. I talked about it in another video about how some folks don't consider an artifact unless it's a 5-pointer. So I got one here. I don't even have there. Well, I can't believe it. I don't even have a 5-pointer here. Well, yeah, I do. Okay, it's a blunt. I know there's more in there. I picked up a bucket of stuff at the house a while ago. I've got buckets of stuff. I've got buckets. That's because I've done this for a long time. I got some pretty cool stuff. A lot of broken stuff. A lot of stuff y'all. This is a lot of stuff you've seen in my videos so far. I kind of keep them aligned to when I found them and where I found them. At least I used to. Not so much anymore. This bucket was out behind one of my shops. I got buckets behind my shop. It's full of water and crud. But anyway, so that's the quickest one I can find right there. A 5-pointer, we call them. This one's been blunted, but it's a 5-pointer. You got your points 1, you got your ears, your notches is 2, 3, and your base is 4 and 5. That's a 5-pointer. That's what we kind of make fun of over the years. It has to be a 5-pointer to be a point. That's pretty cool blunt though, isn't it really? I don't know when or where I found it. Most of these would have come from a certain time period, and I used to put numbers on stuff. I used to try to keep track of them. I don't anymore. Anyway, I got cut to the chase. So is that little Adina that I found last week on camera, it's not an arrowhead? Well, whatever an Adina that size was used for, that could have been an arrowhead. I think they were more of a tool. But some people would say no, and here's where all this comes from. I was hunting down here the other day, looking at some dirt been turned over, and the landowner came by, so I followed him home to show him that. Because he says he never finds anything anymore. He's the one that worked his field his whole life. His dad had land way back. Him and his brother farm it. So I said he might get a kick out of that. He did not get a kick out of it. He said, that's not an arrowhead. That's just a frailing rock. Frailing? That's what he said. An Indian sexstone. That's not an arrowhead. That's not an artifact. It's just a rock. He said how many of these things he's thrown away over the years that were better than this one. Guys, really took the wind out of my sails. It really did. It still does when I think about how many. He sees me out in the field just a little bit ago again, checking it out, waiting for the rain to come and melt it down some. And I'm picking up chips and chunks and putting it on camera. The whole thing correlated to what you guys think. Is that what y'all think too? That's not an arrowhead? Now some of y'all say, oh my gosh, that's wonderful. It is. That's a lancelet style blade, and that's an oldie. I told him that, and he said, how do you know? We didn't get in a deep archaeological discussion. He's got really good stuff they found over the years. Apparently, tons of good stuff. He told me some stories, the stuff they found that they've dug up, moving dirt around the farm. But he did it, took wind out of my sails. I'm doing all this hunting. And maybe a bunch of folks on YouTube think the same thing. So I pick up something like that. It's broke. It's still cool to me. Somebody made that to use thousands of years ago. That one's actually been worked again. Big old Etley. You can still kind of see through it. It was pretty translucent. Check this. And I decided I was going to show some of this stuff off real quick. I don't know if you can see the color in that. Can you all see that in bands? I've never found another one like it. Never found another rock. Look how thin that booger was. I can't tell what it was. I think it was probably, it's not a Sedalia because it's not too finely made. That thing was, wow, whatever. I decided the other night, laying in bed worrying about this stuff, that I was not going to let it bother me. That I'm going to keep picking things up. Look at that bullnose ads, but look at that. It was made that way. That's not been broke off. They used what they could. That's what we call those bullnose ads. I've got hundreds of them. Is that not an artifact? Is that not, no, it's not an arrowhead, but neither is this, or this, or whatever that gorgeous thing. Look at that. That was a preform that they broke. That's what that is. Look how it's getting ready to be a nice one. So anyway, bullnose ads is an artifact in my book. If it's not in yours, there's other channels. Oh, there's a, wow, look at that, a true 5-pointer. Look at a true 5-pointer. Oh boy. It's kind of chunked up ancient. Look at that, there's one, a true one. Oh my gosh, be still my beating heart. Poor little thing. Busted base, blunted. Anyway, that's it. What is an artifact? Oh my gosh. Call those pooters. I'm going to pick a pooter up. Ain't much different back in college. I'm going to pick a pooter. I'm not going to let it get to me. Look at that big thing. I'm not going to let it bother me. Just because it doesn't have 5 points. I've got some with 12 and 16 points. I got some serrated stuff. Is that a bonus? Okay, so did all that meandering around mean anything? I guess I'm trying to say, I'm the real deal. I am what I am. I'm proud. Proud's not the right word, maybe. I take pride in every piece I find because somebody had to have this at one time. They had to. That was tied to something, hafted to something, and it broke while they was using it. Did it break on an animal? Did it break on a chunk of another rock, on something it's prying on? I don't know. There's a mystique and a magic here, and I revel in it. Every time I find one, the other day on this I had that meltdown. It's not a very great piece. It's actually kind of ugly. Oh my gosh. It's also very old. It's archaic, old, or slightly older. How do you know? Well, okay. I've dug up enough myself to know, and there's some pretty good studies out there by people smarter than me. It don't matter how old. If it was an 800-year-old woodland point, I would still be thrilled. Okay? So what is a point to y'all? What is an artifact to y'all? I don't think I have any pottery. I find tons of sharp, and I've been guilty. I don't pick them all up all the time anymore. I've got a whole bucket this size full of pottery, and some of it has some pretty cool working on it, you know, where they wrapped rope around it. They did stipples on stuff, made it kind of cool, but most of it doesn't have that. It's an artifact. It was made by ancient man, so that's it. Let me ask you one more question, because I know I'm boring. I get that. It's a cold, rainy afternoon, fixing to be wintertime. I'm fixing to find a bunch of points, I hope, but that's what we're talking about today. Let me ask you a question. If that is an arrowhead, and that is an artifact, Okay? Well, what's something like this? Huh? According to my landowner there, he is super good people. I mean, they let me on their land, their customers, my restaurant, their neighbors. Is that, what is it? Is that not an artifact? Is that not an arrowhead? I can see through that thing. Oh my gosh. Oh. Guys, I'll take one of these home every single day that I can. Okay? I think you would too. But if I am boring you with bullnose ads, I don't care. I'm gonna bore you. There you go. That was easy. Look at that thing. Another one. Look at that. Big old honking flakes. Archaic to paleo. The flaking shows that. That is an oldie. I've got older. I've got some stuff here that's old, and I've got some of the stuff that's not quite as old. Whatever. It's my stuff. Let me know what y'all think. Seriously. Gosh. I'm gonna keep picking up the chunks and chips and pieces, okay? Guys, thanks a lot for watching. As always, if you like what I'm doing, let me know. Subscribe. If you don't like what I'm doing, you're gonna let me know. Hit the like button, whatever, all that stuff. This channel is growing. It's growing for people like you that apparently like my BS meandering self. So thanks a bunch, y'all. Dale Verts. We'll talk to y'all later. Take care.